Welcome to the NYY Recaps postgame show. The stream is about to begin.
Ball game over. Yankees win.
What a throw by Judge.
But still, I mean, if you're Garrett Cole, what else can you do?
That one's driven deep to left field. There it is. Swing and a miss, and that'll do it.
Before we get started, a few highlights from today's game.
That's a swing and a miss. Half swing on the slider. Oh, and he got him to half swing and miss. The Yankees were totally discombobulated. At our fifth straight strikeout for Carlos Rodon.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 11, and Montgomery. High fly ball, deep right field. That ball is gone. A home run. Torres goes the other way. Runner goes. And the ball gets away from Grandal. Diving head first is Wade. Line drive, a base hit to left field. Wade rounds third. He's going to stop right there. A single for Gardner, and that is a big boy at bat right there. Up the middle. They're going to come home with the throw. And they will get Wade. Line drive and caught on the fly by Moncada. The throw to second, and Marshall gets out of. Grounded to third. There's one. There's two. There it is. It's a triple play. There it is. Urshela steps on the bag, fires to second. Good turn by Odor. A triple play at the stadium. Line drive, a base hit for Judge to start off the ninth. Hit sharply, a base hit to left field. Judge rounds third. They're waving him home. Here's the throw. Here's the play. Yankees win 2-1.
Stick around for the post-game reaction, followed by an audience question and answer session.
That was a hell of a game. Wow. That's all I have to say. Nights like tonight are why I have barely missed any Yankees games that have been televised since 1992. I got hooked on this feeling. That was amazing. What a game, start to finish. Before we get started, Aaron Hicks is having the wrist surgery, so he's going to be out for a while. They said months. I'm guessing all of the months. So I doubt he's going to be back this year. Time to get a center fielder, a real one, or give Florial a shot. Cash, if you think we're going to settle for Delino DeShields, you're nuts. Although, Brett Gardner, good day today, so maybe he's making a play for it. Carlos Rodon struck out the first 5 Yankees that he faced. He actually went to school right around here. His name is up on the fence where I go play ball. Hell of a start from Carlos Rodon. We got to give some serious respect to what he did. Outstanding start, struck out 13. Miggy and Gardner both reach in the third, but Miggy gets thrown out at home. Another out on the bases. That would be kind of a theme for today, even though the Yankees won. Keep making base running mistakes, or at least getting thrown out at the on the bases. Not always a mistake, but some of them are. Jordan Montgomery and Carlos Rodon both had the night of their lives. Honestly, it reminded me of that Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez duel from, I want to say it was 99 or 2000. Maybe somebody can look it up. It was a 0-0 game deep into the game, and then I want to say Trot Nixon hit a 3-run home run to give the Red Sox the lead, and the Yankees ended up losing the game. But Clemens, I think, had 13 strikeouts that night. It was one of the most dominating performances he had in Yankee Stadium as a Yankee, if not the most. All right, so Montgomery working with Gary Sanchez has been really good. 6 shutout innings. Or was it 7? I wrote down 6, but I think it was 7. Shutout innings, 11 strikeouts. And he works with Gary Sanchez the way that Garrett Cole works with Kyle Higashioka. They just have this great feel together. All of his big strikeout games have been with Gary Sanchez. So those two definitely have a good rapport. So I hope that we keep seeing Gary Sanchez out there with Jordan Montgomery. Montgomery continues to be up and down. Today was definitely an up after his worst start of the season, arguably the best start of his career. Bottom of the 7th, Gleyber Torres hits a ball that is only a home run in Yankee Stadium. And I don't use the term porched that much because both teams have to play on the same field. And I don't feel it's fair to say that, oh, the Yankees get an advantage with their short porch. But that was one that was kind of porched because that's only a home run at Yankee Stadium. And it was Gleyber Torres, who's used to using the right side of the ballpark, and he just kind of dunks one right over that right field wall. So the White Sox got porched. But hey, it is what it is. Monty exits for Loaizaga in the 8th, so yeah, he went 7 innings. And the Sox get a run on a walk, a wild pitch, and a bloop single. And I saw that T-Bird commented that he thought Loaizaga was going to blow it there, but Loaizaga put it together. He gets nasty movement at 98, 99 miles an hour. So I still feel confident, even though he was giving up a couple of base runners. I thought he was going to get it together. And Duhar picked up his second hit of the game in the 8th. He's coming around. He had 2 hits tonight, but the Yanks don't score. Top of the 9th, Chapman allows a leadoff walk, and then an infield single on a bunt. It might have been scored in error. I didn't see the official scoring yet, but the runner reaches, so it's just bookkeeping. So there's first and second, nobody out, and you're thinking, oh no, Chapman going to fold under the pressure. But instead, he gets a Sunday hop to third base, and Urshela steps on third, and he goes to second, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? I didn't think he had any shot to get a double play there, or a triple play. But he goes to second, he gets the out, and then they go to first, and somehow they get the triple play. Tremendous. I mean, the stadium was as loud as I've heard it all year. Bottom of the 9th, Judge, Gio, and Gleyber all single, and the Yankees walk it off. Ball game.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And as the president of Gumby Nation, I approve this performance. Great night for Jordan Montgomery. Peter Joy says this should have been Monty's W. So yes, I agree, but ultimately it's a team game, not an individual game. Stats, while an indicator a lot of times how you'll get paid and how people judge you in the offseason, they're not as important as a team victory. So Montgomery, I'm sure he would love the win for his baseball card, but he gets his ERA lowered. His ERA now is down to 4.07, so he dropped it from 4.75 to 4.07 in a single game. 7 innings, 4 hits. You know what I did is I forgot to add in an inning. So 7 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no walks, 11 strikeouts. So that's the issue with building this thing as the game goes along. Sometimes things get overlooked. But great performance by Jordan Montgomery. I thought the triple play was the moment of the year. I was louder on the triple play and for longer than I was when Corey Kluber threw a no-hitter the other day. And you guys saw live, I went crazy when the no-hitter happened. Everybody in the house is asleep. My wife is asleep. The dogs are asleep. There's a dog right here on the couch. And I went through the roof, and I heard the dog start barking. My wife opened the door to make sure everything was okay. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Shub BH says, I was at the game. Save your ticket stub because that feels like a turning point. And by the way, how hard did Aaron Judge hit that ball up the middle late in the game? I didn't see the exit velocity on that, but that had to be over 110, 115. That was a bullet, an absolute laser beam. Luke Hughes says, I don't like the White Sox announcers. I agree. They're awful. They're just, I have to listen to some of them when I'm cutting the highlights, and they're just terrible. And they've always been terrible. They've always had very homer announcers. And I know some fans like their announcers to be like rooting for their team, but I like a neutral announcer. And you can say that the Yankees announcers aren't that neutral, and maybe they're not. I know John Sterling is pretty neutral because if you go back and listen to Game 7 of the 2001 World Series, when the Arizona Diamondbacks walked it off, he was as excited as anybody. He was going berserk. I think John Sterling just likes a really good baseball game. He likes offense, too. He complains a lot about the strikeouts. It seems like every inning he says, they just don't hit. They just don't hit, Susan. You can't explain it. They just don't hit. Danny Corner says, too many ground into double plays. And too many base running mistakes. We see Wade get thrown out at home here. We saw Gardner get doubled off at second, and Duhar got thrown out at home. The Yankees like to run on contact, especially on infield ground balls. You got a runner on third. They go as soon as there's contact. I disagree with that strategy. I think you got to make the ball get through. Otherwise, you're just going to keep getting thrown out. You're just giving away outs. What good is Moneyball and valuing every out if you're just going to give them away on the bases? They even say in the movie Moneyball, I pay you to get on first, not get thrown out at second. That's the whole reason the Yankees don't steal very much, although Tyler Wade did steal second base today. Gigi says, I love Judge hitting line drives. Yeah, he hits just absolutely scalding line drives. Honestly, if I was pitching to he or Giancarlo Stanton, I would just throw it and duck. Just duck, cover all the important organs, and just hope he doesn't hit it right back at me. Jason Kenobi says, I think Clint is officially benched. Agreed. Well, I don't know if I'm going to agree just yet, because Clint Frazier's dealing with an injury, and there's kind of an unwritten rule in baseball, and we've heard so much about unwritten rules lately, that you're not supposed to lose your position because of an injury. But notice that Miguel Andujar is heating up. Andujar tonight, 2 for 3. He's now over 205, so he's hitting 50 points or so higher than Clint Frazier. And I don't think Andujar has a double yet, but he's hitting line drives. He's got a higher exit velocity. I mentioned it in my episode of the Frieze this morning. His exit velo this season coming into the game was 92.7 miles an hour. That's 3 miles an hour faster than his rookie season of 2018, when it was, I believe, 89.2. So he's actually hitting the ball better than he did that year. He's just hitting more line drives, and he hasn't had a ton of reps yet to get doubles and home runs. But I think they're coming. And while I don't know if he's officially benched, he's definitely looking over his shoulder at this point. Clint Phantom Ill, says Justice. Yeah. By the way, I love it when people spell their name Justice with a U, like Justice Sheffield. Dev Patel says, Wade honestly needs to go. I was pretty hard on Tyler Wade last week, but I will say this. Despite him making some base running errors, he does seem to get on the bases a lot. Anthony Fernandez, 106.7 miles an hour from Judge. Honestly, I thought it was harder than that. I'm really surprised it was that low. Dragon Tamer Jr. King. I include him every single night in these threads because he always supplies useful information. Yankees' current record up to 26-19. Let's see what the Boston Red Sox have done / are doing tonight. Because if the Yankees win, okay, so the Red Sox are up on the Phillies 8-3. So right now the Yankees are a game out, so it's going to go back to a game and a half. By the way, the Tampa Bay Rays traded Willy Adames tonight. Ronan Ryan says, send Clint down. Well, there's nobody really to call up at this point. The Yankees are looking for outfielders because they're so out of it. And BB mentioned earlier today, says, I think Clint is being traded. That's why he's on the bench. We need an outfielder. So I don't know if I agree with that because we've seen guys, play until they get traded before many, many times. Guys have been traded during games. I remember in 1997, this was an embarrassing one. It was Kenny Rogers and Mariano Duncan were traded to I want to say, it was maybe it was 98. It was 97 or 90. It was 97, I think. Yeah, it was 97. They were traded to San Diego in the middle of a game for Greg Vaughn. But then Greg Vaughn failed the physical and the trade got annulled. So Kenny Rogers and Mariano Duncan had to finish out the season with the Yankees. Greg Vaughn went on to hit 50 home runs the next year for the Padres. So classic Yankees move. No, this guy failed his physical. We don't want him. And then boom, he hits 50 home runs the next year. Michael Blue says Michael K is pretty neutral. Yeah, for the most part, he is. He does talk about, growing up as a Yankees fan a lot, which I think is fair game because he's speaking to a Yankees audience. But when it comes to the actual calling of the stuff between the lines, he tends to be pretty neutral. Derek Q says, why do you think Luke Voigt looks so lost at the plate right now? I'm loving all the momentum we have going to the next game, by the way. Yeah, momentum is super important. I like your Captain America profile. So Luke Voigt is, he can hit. He's the man. I just think that it's tough to get into a rhythm because he came back after an extended layoff. He hit a home run. He had a day off. He comes back, has another tough day. I just, you're flying across the country. I just think he needs to get settled in. I think this was his first game at Yankee Stadium all season. And so, maybe he's got the adrenaline up a little bit with the fans going. And everybody looked lost tonight against Carlos Rodon. The guy had 13 strikeouts. So I don't think we need to be too hard on Luke Voigt. Give him a couple of days. Banks says Blue Jays and Rays are tied. Henry Chiansky says Wade had to go on that play. Yes, and I agree. He probably did have to go on that play. Zach Goldman says Andujar versus Frazier for left field. Honestly, even though Andujar made kind of a mistake tonight, there was a bloop in between he and Brett Gardner in center field, and Gardner was clearly calling for it, and Andujar kind of ignored that and cut right in front of him, and the ball got by them, and it was charged an error to Andujar. Even though things like that are going to happen, I just like the way Andujar swings the bat better than I like the way Clint Frazier swings the bat. If for a little other reason than Clint Frazier is a strikeout machine. I think Clint Frazier has more raw power, but right now the Yankees have so many strikeouts in this lineup. The entire league has so many strikeouts. I want somebody in there who's going to get base hits. We saw it tonight. He had 2 bloop hits to right field. He didn't have a really good swing on either of them, but those are the type of hits that Miggy gets. That's why he has all those multi-hit games, because you can fool him. You can jam him. You can get him out front. You can have him behind. He's still going to put the bat on the ball, and if you put the bat on the ball, things can happen. Hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do in all of sports. And the guys who can do it exceptionally, you want to give them at-bats and just see how far they can go with it. I think that Miguel Andujar is lightning waiting to strike. He hit .297 with 27 home runs, 47 doubles as a rookie. That's not an accident. That's not a hot month. He had a 4+ offensive WAR. He was outstanding. He gets hurt. He has the labrum surgery. He misses an entire year. He comes back, and by then Gio Urshela has taken his spot at third base. So he knows he has to hit exceptionally well to find a place to play. Last year they still had Gardner out in left. So he wasn't going to break in defensively. And the Yankees had enough offense that they didn't need to put his bad defense out there. So he spends most of the shortened season at the alternate site. He gets called up late in the year, and he started to get hot. He was hitting really well. You remember that home run, that bullet that he hit up there in Buffalo in Salem Park? Just an absolute shot. And he was just starting to rake when apparently he got benched or whatever it was, and he didn't end up getting a chance in the postseason. And I felt like he's the type of hitter you needed against the Rays, when you just need a base hit in that, late in the series, when you had numerous opportunities to score and you didn't. So right now, when the Yankees are struggling offensively, the entire league is struggling offensively. Home runs are not the thing to go with this year. I don't want the home run hitters in there. I want the line drive contact guys. And I want speed and defense. And I get it. Andujar's not a great defensive player, but the way the Yankees are playing defense right now is fantastic. The Yankees are going to win with pitching, defense, and timely hitting. That's what it's going to come down to. That's always the reason they lose. And this year, if they can do it, it'll be the reason they win. Even Aaron Judge, not swinging for home runs lately. What do you notice about Judge? Line drives all over the ballpark. Giancarlo Stanton, line drives all over the ballpark when he's in there at 115 plus miles an hour. Now, maybe he can only play for short stints at a time. But, these guys who hit hard line drives are what you need right now. Yankees win this one 2-1. I appreciate all the love. Let's hear it from John Sterling one more time.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
See you guys next time. Oops, that's the wrong thing.